Let's go over a few crypto names, starting with XRP. Right now, we are up 4.21%. This is obviously a moving target because the market is open. I will mark this out. I'll give you some ranges here. To the north side, the middle of the trend, the median, the baseline, and in this case, resistance will take us to $2.72. And down the road, 346. Now to the south side, the next target to the south side would be roughly $1.64 rounded up. But we are in an upward channel, so that's nice to see. But if you see that dip, that's one level. And then after that, the next level is 127. Now looking at this in the big picture, you can see this is all support and then a run up. This is resistance. We hit this next level, gave it back. The middle of the trend becomes support. And then this is resistance, the clear sell-off. I last looked at this when it was $3.12. And then obviously this is resistance corresponding with an overbought frothy RSI. So that played out perfectly. And then back down to support. Resistance, down to support, and note we slice through this line too. And then this is your sell-off, down to support, fell through, the buy-in here, resistance, now we're at support, so the next logical conclusion, maybe a little bit of a pullback because the market has been crazy. If you have not looked at your long-term trading account, don't. And then I will anticipate to get to this level. And that is on the daily, the RSI turning up, on the weekly going down, so we have some more bleeding out to do. And on the monthly, I'm just looking at the RSI and also going down. So the daily tells us we're going up, weekly and monthly going down. And let's take a look at this on the 5-minute, but obviously it changes so much. We are frothy on the 5. So the next target to the downside, $2, middle of the trend here, $1.95, and then $1.90. Note the buy-in at support. It's going to be a sell-off here at resistance. All right, the next one I want to look at is Bitcoin. It tanked, but rebounded a little bit because the last time I saw this was at 80-ish and now we're at 85. Now this is the 5, and because this is a moving target, I don't really want to give it to you on the 5, but I'm going to. But I'll mark it out on the daily. 85,819. The middle of the trend, 85, what, 85,029. Here's another support area, 84,213, 83,838, and 83,429. What do we see following this trend line here at support and a bounce to resistance? And then since we're frothy up here, we could hit 85.29 and then slowly continue to go up. Your sell signal, your sell signal, your sell signal, your clear buy signal down here. Let's take a look at this on the daily. What does the daily chart tell us? Okay, we are at support on the daily. Like we got bought up here. That's where we are. Let me just mark this out. $85,887. Okay, again, a moving target. Here are your levels. 88,025. Down the road, 97,576. And then back to the middle of the trend, roughly 116,277. The last time I looked at this, we were at 114,000 and now we're at 85. That is a fall from grace, a major rug pull on the daily. We are turning up. So Bitcoin will be, it looks like, reversing. But let me take this off from here, from the point where I looked at price to where we are today. That's a 25% decline. Yeah. All right. Oopsie daisy. My laptop just closed. I hit it on accident. All right. That's resistance and a sell-off. Clear area of support and a buy-in. This is resistance, and then we're just making our way along this trend where price has to slice through the middle of the trend to get to the upside or to the downside. If you play it safe, the middle of the trend is that safe zone. And Trader Marat and I talked about this ticker. It looks like on November of 24. And he thought that we would be completing a forecast of 95,000. And look, we went way above that. Here's the peak at 126,272. So congrats to Marat for calling that, but it went even higher. But obviously, when you look at the chart, you're going to get updates. And so I never updated with him after that. But you're just slow grind up and now giving it back. Obviously, we can still go down, hit these levels where I've tracked in the past, but hopefully things will turn around a little bit. Okay, that's the daily turning up. Let's just look at the RSI only, and we're going down still, so there's still some bleeding out to do. And then obviously we got frothy here. We hit this critical area, and you can expect a turnaround. I don't care what will happen, what people say, what the excuse is, I will anticipate it. And then we went down, went up a little bit, and then now we're still going down. So watch out for that on the monthly as well. All right. I tracked this for Abdul at $30,000. Okay, I want to go over Mara because it hit some critical areas that I had marked out. And let me give you this. Well, we're on the monthly, RSI turning down, so we're going to bleed some more. Okay. And I'm looking at RSI only, going down still. So on the weekly, we are still bleeding, going to be bleeding. And what are we at here? On the daily, RSI, ooh, it's starting to possibly go sideways to turn up. All right, let me show you this on the daily. That's kind of a hot mess, huh? But this is the area. I'm going to show you this on the 5-minute where I will give you better price targets because this is not a moving target. This trades during regular hours, so we don't have to worry about this moving. So let's move it over to the 5-minute. But on the daily, the next target will be 931 and then this gap at 859, and that's where I'm going to be buying in. I'm going to set a buy order. Okay, so on the 5-minute, here are your targets. We're at 10:07. All right, to the north side, 10:38, 10:64, and 10:89. The middle of the trend is 988. That 990 isn't, oh no, that, I have to double check what that was because I've changed my color code. White now is price targets, but because this is so evenly paced out that it was just resistance, middle of the trend, and support. So, all right, to the south side, 939, 913, and potentially back to an area we've been, 888. All right, oh, let me show you something up here. So I've already anticipated this stock to crash because of these gaps that I have already drawn out for myself a long time ago. That took us down to 1421. Delete, no longer in play. And this is no longer in play as well. That took us down to 1334. And that I marked out. Let's take this to the 15th so you can see this just a little bit better. Okay, that one I marked out in June of 2025, June 24, 2025. Let's delete that one. And then this one I marked out on May 8th of 2025. And now we are just closing it out. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months plus and some change. Okay, that is no longer in play. I will tell you what is. Let me delete that. And as you can see, it's been a while since I marked this out. And oh, here's a gap that I did not clean up. I expected this move down to 1620 when we were much higher. Okay, that's done. Delete. This little gap is also done. I marked that on Tuesday, September 9th. That opened up. I don't know if I marked it then, but that's done. Took us down to 1523, no longer in play. That's done. Wherever I see a red line, yeah, I have not looked at this thing in forever. 1482. This one, I just extended it too far because I just take it out, you know, to the right, and I have no idea when it's going to hit, and it did. 1493 is done. Let's look at this 1491. 2 more and I'll be done, even though there are many more to clean up. That's done. 1491. And then 1504. Oh, that touched right here on August the 1st of 2025. That's how I have not gone back to look at this. And why is this hanging right here? That's an accident. Oh shoot, I'm on the 15 here. So I keep doing that. All right, to the north side. It might be off a little bit. That took us to 1579. Let's move this to the 5-minute. And because I gave you price levels on the 15, it's going to be slightly different. So here we go again. 1039, 1064, 1090. Oh, I did give it to you, and then I flipped it to the 15. What am I thinking? Okay, I'm done with this one. The 1-year price target, look at a sea of red here. But the 1-year price target is 23.55, 133% return from where we are, if you can stomach it and stay in. But a lot of people don't, and I don't either. I don't care about Mara. I'll buy it and trade it, but I won't keep it. And you know, the big one that everyone is talking about is Ethereum. Let's just look at this on the 5, and it's a moving target. So the next leg up, 28.32, 28.52, and then back to the baseline. I'm not going to draw it. 27.75, 27.37, 27.16, and 26.97. Sell-off resistance, corresponding with here, being frothy. That's resistance, resistance, buy-in, support. Now let me give you this on the daily, and I'm done. So on the daily here, let's mark this out. 28.12. Well, if I make this a little bit bigger, it could be a little more precise. Come on. Geez, see how quickly it moves? Let's go here. Let me just do this. Type it in. 28.12.33. I'm done. Not touching it anymore. Okay. Here are your targets on the daily. 29.80. And then the middle of the trend will take us to 42.75. That's way down the road. And then eventually the outer band here, 55, 57, not really the outer, but you know, the inner of the outer, 61.95, and Ethereum will eventually get to 68.52. Okay, we're at support, so I anticipate a bounce, and look, RSI turning up to the south side here, 23.19. I already said this, didn't I? 16.99. Bounce at support, sell off at resistance. It's been a long time since I looked at this. Ooh, look at this. We were at 4,000 up here. Yeah, I don't really track this one. All right. That does it for me. If there is a ticker that you want me to go over, please let me know, and have a great trading week.